Did you hear about lasagna soup? It was really popular a year ago and I kept seeing recipes for it and they all look so good. And although I really wanted to try it, I never did, but that's what we're doing today. Today is another episode of Test This Recipe. And the way it works is y'all send me a recipe that you want me to try. I'll test it out on the show and let you know if it's worth making again. I'll also give tips or suggestions for improving it if needed. Today we're making Southern Living's cheesy lasagna soup and I am so excited. It looks amazing. Let's get started. All right, the first step is about 8 ounces of whole milk ricotta cheese. So I have that here. And next is 1 cup parmesan cheese. This is for a cheesy topping that you can add on the top when you're serving the soup. And then next is 1/4 teaspoon salt. And I think I'll add some pepper in there as well. Okay, we'll cover it with plastic and put that in the fridge until the soup is ready to serve. Next, we need to brown some ground beef, so we're gonna head over to the stove. All right, the recipe says 1 pound ground chuck, and I find chuck is a little bit too greasy, so I'm using a 90% lean ground beef. And the recipe also says to put olive oil in the pan first before you cook the beef, and I have never done that, so I don't know why it says that. Especially with chuck, you're not gonna need any extra oil in there, so I do not recommend adding the tablespoon of olive oil to the pan. Now we'll just chop this up. And while that's cooking, I'm gonna start the onion and garlic. We've got 1 medium onion here. I'm just gonna chop that up. Here's Cocoa Puff. Hey girl. So lasagna soup is basically all the flavors of lasagna, but in a soup form. And it just looks really good. You put the noodles in, you cook the noodles right in the pan, so it's a 1-pan dish, and it just looks so wonderful for fall. The bird, Gracie, our African gray parrot, is over there on the coffee table. She's chewing on stuff and Coco's upset, so Coco's just like pacing. Coco wants to know why Gracie's out of her cage. Okay, the beef looks great, nice and brown and cooked through. Now we're going to use a slotted spoon to take it out and set it aside. So it does say to drain the beef, but because I didn't use chuck, this really doesn't have anything to drain. It's so lean. If you do use a fattier meat, then you can drain some of that fat. Now at this point, we can add our olive oil after we already cooked the beef, because it does need a little grease in there. And we'll add our onions. Now it says we cook the onions for about 4 minutes. And while those cook, I'll prepare the garlic. Okay, we need several cloves of garlic, so I'll just peel those real quick. Now we can just mince these, I guess. Okay, that looks good. Okay, these onions look good. Let's go ahead and add our garlic, and then we'll just stir that until fragrant. You never want to burn garlic. That's why recipes always say just cook until fragrant, until you can smell the garlic. That's enough, because if you burn garlic, it really, really tastes bad. So really important for cooking. Now we add our 30 ounces diced or crushed tomatoes. I'll just pour that right in. I use this spoon like that and it helps reduce the splatter, because there is nothing worse than getting tomato sauce on your clothes. Next is 1.5 tablespoons sugar. Kind of seems like a lot, but I'm gonna just go with it. So there's our sugar. What do you think about that, huh? Next is 1 teaspoon salt. And now I'll add our 4 cups of chicken broth and then 2 cups of beef broth. I will give this a stir. Oh my gosh, the bird is dancing. Oh my gosh. So it says to bring this to a boil over high heat, and then we add our lasagna pieces. And it says to use 8 ounces of lasagna. So this is a 16-ounce package, so I'm just gonna kind of estimate about half of that. There we go. Okay, so we break these up. Oh, flying lasagna noodles. If you have kids or grandkids, definitely put them on this job. They like to break things, right? You know what I always found so funny, so interesting as a mother, that my kids, as much as they loved building something, whether it was a fort or Legos, not Legos so much, but a fort or blocks or a sandcastle, they wanted, with equal excitement, they wanted to destroy it. And I was always like, don't break it, it's amazing, look, it's so fun. And they were like, no, we want to destroy it now. So they want to see how that all works out. I always thought that was so interesting, and I always had to hold myself back and be like, don't say anything, let them destroy it. Okay, this has finally come to a boil, so we're gonna add our lasagna noodles. Now it says to cook these for about 8 minutes or until al dente, and stirring frequently so they don't get stuck together. Okay, set my timer for 8 minutes, and I'll see you back then. Okay, we're about halfway through cooking, and I'm a little concerned that we're not going to have enough liquid because too much is cooking off in this boil. On the edge here, you can see where it started, and then you can see where we are now. So you can see how much it's already reduced, and we're only halfway through. So I am going to add a little more broth. Just want to make sure there's enough liquid to, really make a nice soup bowl with all the noodles. And we'll bring that back to a boil and keep cooking. All right, I think the noodles are al dente. Okay, so now we turn off the heat, and then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon red wine vinegar. Then we'll give that a stir. And now we add back in our ground beef. Well, look at that. Isn't that looking nice and hearty? Yum. And that's it. Then to serve, you can scoop the parmesan and ricotta mixture on top and top with some mozzarella cheese. So I'm gonna have to have a taste, and then we'll see if we need to make any other adjustments. Okay, you know what every kitchen needs is a really good ladle, or a really good set of ladles. I've got like 3 different sizes, and I love them. They're so great for soups, beans, stews. I just want a little taste just to see if the flavors are right, and then we can make some adjustments if needed. So I'll put a little bit of this mixture in, and then you can also add some mozzarella cheese, and you're supposed to put some basil on top. Let me do that. I mean, it looks really good. It looks really yummy in the bowl. It looks really like nourishing. I would love this on a cold day. And the flavors, everything smells wonderful. That's really good. With the fresh basil and the topping, the nice cheeses on there, it does taste really good. The only thing, and maybe you noticed this, is that there was really not a lot of seasonings in this, and I think we should add a few, don't you? Let's get some, how about some pepper? There wasn't even any pepper in this whole recipe, so I definitely think ground pepper would be really nice and flavorful, and then probably some more salt. There was salt in the tomatoes and the broth, so you have to be careful. Be sure to taste it first, but I think we do need a little more salt in there. I have some dried oregano. I'm gonna put some of that in. That's starting to smell better. You know, another thing we also put in lasagna often with the ground beef is some bulk Italian sausage. You just cook it the same as the ground beef and then add that in. I'm thinking that is gonna add a huge amount of flavor and just make it really delicious. So why don't we cook some sausage? And I did buy some because I was thinking this might be an issue. I thought this recipe looks a little plain, so I'm gonna buy some sausage and keep it in the fridge. And sure enough, I think it does need the sausage. So I'm gonna use a ½ pound of sausage, add that to it, and I think it'll make it just a lot more flavorful, plus the oregano, plus the pepper, and the additional salt. And then I think I'll also chop some fresh basil and put that in there. Let me get a few of these leaves here. And we'll finally chop this. Throw that in there, get some more flavor. Okay, that was looking nice and it smells really good. But really, the first recipe, good basics, but I really didn't get like, oh, lasagna. So I'm trying to get there. Hopefully the sausage and the extra herbs will do it. Let's see. Okay, so here is my mild Italian bulk sausage, and I'm gonna go ahead and cook the whole pound. We'll break this up just like with the beef. All right, the sausage looks great. So let's add about half that over to the soup. Of course, you could add more, but we're probably gonna run out of room here. Ooh, look at that. Oh, now we're talking. Oh, this looks really nice. Now, ideally, you would cook the sausage with the beef. Then those flavors would have a little more time to combine and really enhance the soup. Okay, let's try some of this. Now a little dollop of the cheese. And then if you like a little more fresh basil in there, let's see how it tastes. Oh man, now this is delicious. This is so good. I think the family's gonna love this. Yum. This is so delicious. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really means so much to me. Also, there's something new. It's called the hype button. It's on the same little line as the like. So if you scroll over a little bit, there'll be a hype button that you can hit. And if you hit that hype button, I think it's within the first few hours of posting, it could be incredibly, incredibly helpful for me. If we get enough hypes, it can boost me to like the homepage of YouTube, which would be amazing. So push the hype button, push the like button. Also be sure to subscribe. I've got lots more videos coming up with easy recipes just like this, and I don't want you to miss any of them. Also be sure to send in a recipe if you want me to test it. This has been so much fun and I'm excited to hear from you. I'll put the recipe in the description box below, as well as my modifications. And of course, if you have any questions, leave those in the description box below or send me an email, marie@mariesaba.com. I'm gonna run pick up my kids, and then hopefully they'll be willing to come on and have a taste and they can give their opinion so you can get some more honest reviews. But I think it's a real winner, especially with the modifications that we made. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, we're back. So she's gonna test it for us and see how it is, okay? Here we go. Beautiful lasagna soup. When I first told her, she was like, lasagna stew? But I was like, no, it's kind of like tomato soup, but with noodles and more flavors. Here we go. It's ricotta and Parmesan cheese. And you can put some basil on. Oh, look how she made it all pretty. That's my girl.
Thank you, I did do that.
Put some extra parm on. Okay.
Stop looking at me.
No, stay over here, stay over here.
Really good.
You like it, huh?
It's good, I really like it.
Yummy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 2 thumbs up, one from me, one from her. We'll see what my son thinks, my husband. Overall, I think it's a winner, especially if you make the little revisions that I made. And again, I'll put those in the description box below so you can see those. I'll also put the original recipe if you'd rather do that. And don't forget, if you have a recipe that you'd like me to try, send it over and I'll test it out and we'll give it a review and see if it's worth making again. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.